I call it the either the lost gondola or the deserted gondola, and it's sort of an idea that this gondola that it has disappeared and they find it, and then maybe it has something to do with some sort of unfortunate mayhem. But the male figures over here, it's one thing I was playing with was using an opaque projector to blow it up so that I don't have my hand in it, but it becomes a little bit uh, uh, crisper. Because if I start to put in a figure, if I start to draw a figure, I'm going to stylize it. And I didn't want that. I wanted to compare the stylization of my painting with the more direct approach of just copying something. Because growing up in the 60s, there was a great deal of oppression, especially in Lincoln, Nebraska. I was stopped by the police a couple times a week just because they wanted to harass me for being a gay man. And New Orleans, that wasn't true at all.
Yeah.
And
so you were open in Lincoln?
oh yeah, yeah. I came out in 1960, and it was so neat being queer, because it was oppositional, it was political, and I still think that the idea of gay marriage would have never crossed our mind. We were just interested in being allowed to be who we are.
Yeah.
And it was great fun. And when I went to New Orleans, of course, the gay scene there was just rampant. But coming here, I'm not sure that I was, but I'm going to say this, I'm not sure I was the only gay artist practicing in Dallas at the time, but I think I might have been. And this caused some conflicts, but the community embraced me. They liked what was going on. If you make good art, it doesn't matter. It's lovely black paper. And I use a material called carandache, which is an oil crayon, sort of like a Crayola, but it has better body, but it has that sharp little point, and it's all about hatch and crosshatch. Drawing was my first love, and I did so much of it, and I think I do it very well. I haven't drawn in a long time, though, and when I took that life drawing class, I was so frustrated because I didn't have the fluidity that I had it.
So a lot of your work seem to favor a black or dark background.
Yeah. I don't know. Could be my soul. And then again, there's collage parts that come together.
That's wonderful.
I think things like that, and then the car going.
So I can see there one piece here, another piece here. There are four.
I took this and probably tore it, just separated it to give myself. I love this type of line that you can get in collage, where it breaks, but you have to know which way to tear it.
Yes.
And so that this becomes more important than that. The gay scene here was very, very open. You know, I think there were more gay bars at one point than art galleries. But it was wild. But the 70s were wild. Everything was until 81 when AIDS hit. Mm-hmm. And then you saw a real decline. And most artists at that time, gay artists, were dealing with the AIDS crisis. And I was still dealing with the concept of gay identity, and that it's okay. And so a lot of my stuff, there's a lot of irony in my gay images. Sometimes they're sort of slightly romantic, but, you know, the whole thing is any sexual situation is going to have ironic overtones. And that's sort of what I would pick up many times. This is, I don't remember when I did this, probably about 15 years ago. At a certain point, you lose track of space and time. It was just being silly. It was a Xerox I did out of a 1920s magazine with this sort of effeminate guy, and it said, "You're never safe with Eddie." And I thought, what a funny thing to say. And then I combined it with a sort of cubist painting thing. So it's talking as much about the history of painting and the concepts of painting. And I didn't like the head. So I had done another painting that I didn't like, and I cut out the skull and glued it on there. And I think it really works very well because it gives more of an emotion, and it sort of starts to create a different dialogue than it had before. And it's the balance of open spaces and active spaces, things like that. But these that are on the wall, those were the last paintings I did.
Okay.
I've always been fascinated by literature, as I was saying, and as a young man, I fell in love, and I mean probably more a boy, probably 17 or 18. I fell in love with the short stories of Tennessee Williams and the sort of eroticism and the melancholy that he is able to create. And this is, I always called it, one of my Tennessee Williams paintings. It's called Porcelain Arms. And it's sort of about sexual awakening and danger. And this figure of the person getting their penis cut off was from a classical Greek vase. And I thought, oh, how wonderful. And then and a lot of it is just about, you've got to put something there. You've got to compose it. And so the women's legs coming in just was sort of a quirk, but I think I love the way that this shape happened.